Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for All About Android is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com.
This episode of All About Android is brought to you by Freshbooks, the easy-to-use cloud accounting software for small business owners. Make this year your most productive year yet. Try it free for 30 days at freshbooks.com/AAA. And by LegalZoom. Get your dream business up and running or take control of your family's future with LegalZoom. For special savings, visit LegalZoom.com and enter AAA at checkout. And by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Home plays a big role in your life, and that's why Quicken Loans created Rocket Mortgage. It lets you apply simply and understand the entire mortgage process fully so you can be confident that you're getting the right mortgage for you. Get started at rocketmortgage.com/Android. Hello and welcome to All About Android, episode number 357, recorded on Tuesday, February 20th, 2018. We're your weekly source for the latest news, hardware, and apps for the Android faithful. I'm Jason Howell.
And I'm Ron Richards.
And I'm Florence Ion.
And we are all about
Captain
Android.
Wait, wrong show.
Plus one, we've got Matteo Doni returning to the table in the area, bringing tasty treats. How's it going?
Very well, thanks. Thanks for having me back on the show.
Always good to have you on. Thank you for stopping by.
Literally.
I would like to say that it's good to be back after missing last week.
Yes, it's great to have you back, sir.
We talked about Flo's 1970s Berkeley student look in the pre-show, but I didn't get a chance to appreciate both Matteo's tie-dye look, which is quite Bay Area, and the wonderful shade of purple indigo on Jason. Like, it is a very...
We're colorful today.
There's a very colorful crew this week with the Android green.
It's an electric
it's
blue.
Electric.
My
it's electric.
8-year-old daughter has told me she doesn't like it. She's like, it's too blue.
I like it.
And I said, well, I'm going to wear it because I feel good in it.
It's very in line with a lot of Huawei and Honor phone colors recently.
Yeah, well, that's why I wore it today. I figured, it's all about Android.
The phones brought it back into style, clearly.
Yeah.
It's the same for the humans.
Today's a colorful show.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. It should be.
I think so, too.
I agree.
We've got lots of things to talk about that have nothing to do with color. We're going to be discussing everything that we think we know about the Samsung Galaxy S9, because if you didn't know, the event is this weekend.
Are we going to talk about the colors of them?
Maybe. I can't remember. I didn't put that in there.
There's a lot to talk about here.
Yeah, there's a lot there. Nokia's big year. Who would have thunk? Xiaomi's Redmi 5 Plus. We've got the review of that with Matteo, or maybe more of a hands-on. Google Pay for Android, or whatever they're calling it these days, and a whole lot more. It's time, Victor, if you're ready, it's time for the news.
I say we give Ron a new Samsung phone so he can call in with animojis.
Oh, that's
what
a
say
good
you
idea.
guys?
That's a good idea.
That's a bit of a teaser there.
It is. It's a flash forward.
It's a flash forward for something we haven't even talked about. So let's give context to that news from Victor. So this Sunday, Samsung's big event in Barcelona to unveil the Galaxy S9 is occurring. But like it often does, details leak out. And now we have a lot of details about the Galaxy S9. So we're going to dive in. First off, the German tech site winfuture.de basically spilled the beans on all these leaked. I don't want to say spoilers, but they're not really spoilers. Maybe they're spoilers. Yeah. So there's tons of S9 pictures that are revealing the similar design to the display as the Galaxy S8, which is what we kind of speculated, that it wouldn't really go, too far depart from the S8 design. We're also seeing in these photos the fingerprint sensor below the rear-facing camera. The S9 Plus will have dual cameras on the back. Both phones' rear cameras will feature a variable aperture system that switches between f2.4 and f1.5 as needed. So a lot of focus on the camera, which again isn't that big of a surprise because in the teaser, kind of the promoting stuff, they were their promotional materials highlighted, kind of photos as a piece of it. But there's some other interesting leaked pieces of info here. The leaks also confirm "quote unquote" intelligent scan that combines facial recognition and iris scanning for secure access. So evolving the facial recognition, adding iris scanning, make it into one big bundle so it's even more secure. Our good old buddy Bixby will be getting an update and still functioning off of a dedicated button. And there'll be a new Samsung app called Usup. For real-time location sharing with other users. And then finally, as Victor mentioned, Samsung teased a 3D emoji feature similar to the Animoji on the iPhone X in one of its teaser promo videos. So there's a lot there to play off of. There was a full the Animoji ripoff not ripoff, but their attempt at it appears will be full body emoji with customizable clothing and things like that, which is curious. And I thought it was great to see friend of the show Tim Schofield, QB King 77 on Twitter, as a bit of a source of some of this data. He had a whole little tweet storm with some info about the S9. So lots to talk about. What do you guys make of this stuff?
Usup.
Usup.
Is that how you're supposed to say that? It's UHSSUP. Usup. Like what's up? Is that kind of what it is?
Like wasabi.
Wasabi. Yes, exactly.
Sadly, it sounds like an inappropriate attempt to say something Asian-y. Like it doesn't. I'm worried about that.
Yeah.
What's up?
Location sharing. I mean, it's okay. Sure. We kind of. Wow. Okay. Maps has location sharing. Like we can already really do that. But say that will never be a thing that stops Samsung from rolling out their own version of this. So I guess if Samsung's selling a heck of a lot of phones, which it does, all those phones can talk to each other with Usup.
Usup.
Sure. Okay.
And people won't be accidentally covering the camera lenses with their fingers when they're trying to unlock their phones.
It's true.
I'm so happy the fingerprint sensor.
I do like the way the back looks on this phone.
Yeah.
Compared to last year's, but I'm not super excited this year.
No.
For all these new phones because I already have the perfect phone in my hand. It's the Pixel 2. I don't really need anything else. I'm
So that's
very
it?
happy.
Time stops still.
I'm very happy where I am, and maybe it comes with age. I don't know, but
you're maturing.
I feel really mature.
Do you not have an emoji envy?
I have no Animoji envy because I have AR stickers.
Also because we're adults.
Also because I am an adult.
Yes, or supposed to be an adult. But but Flo, do you think that this is a competitor for the perfect phone? Like, would this make you consider getting something other than the Pixel 2?
No.
See?
No, not really.
Samsung fan club?
No.
Just not okay.
No, because I'm seeing this shift to everybody building like their own ecosystem. Yeah. So now if I choose somebody else, then I have to go be with somebody else and like the friends that they hang out with versus like the people that I've become comfortable with. Yeah. And the people that I'm comfortable with are my Google Home, my Google Home Mini, all these other things in my house.
It's like the messaging nightmare, but expanded to full phones. I
see it just beyond phones. I'm like, all right, Samsung. So I see this like push to go towards this very like platform heavy, this ecosystem that's very much a platform. So it's like if I choose Samsung, I'm choosing the Samsung platform, and it just feels so like it doesn't feel like, oh, I can choose Samsung and then still be a part of this. It feels like now I have to choose a route.
I think I know the thing that'll win you over.
What?
Flo. It's pretty big news, but the Samsung Galaxy S9 series is going to introduce a new ringtone. Mm-hmm. According to the company, they say this: listening to this year's piece by Johnson, you will find that the notes arouse the most pure fundamental elements of the human sentiment that often remain hidden in our daily lives. In this way, the latest version of Samsung's brand sound has the power to relax the mind and heal the soul, thus resonating with all who hear it, regardless of their age. So that's what you're missing.
You know what's really funny?
Can we
about
hear
that?
it?
What's really funny about that is that I was reading about ringtones earlier today, and I was thinking, I think 2018 might be the year ringtones make a comeback.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. What is the ringtone? Or is this an alarm clock?
No, this is the ringtone.
Okay. It doesn't really scream, "Answer me now!" It's more like...
But then this is...
Well, the original used to go... do 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 do, like, because that's like the Samsung jingle.
Yeah.
And so this is like a long orchestral, like piano version of that. Do, 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 or however that little jingle goes.
This does not instill you to say answer the phone.
No, I mean, it's actually an interesting conundrum. If a ringtone is too good, you don't want to answer the phone. You don't want the song to stop.
True, but is this Samsung's way of saying sorry for the PTSD a lot of people have from that whistling text message ringtone?
That one?
Exactly.
Oh my God, the first time I heard that,
That's 8 years of pain that people have been feeling around the world. Maybe this is Samsung's way of saying sorry.
They're unraveling it a little bit.
But then, obviously, we're listening to the ringtone in this context.
Yeah.
If the device, the Samsung S9, has good speakers, this ringtone may sound significantly different from a device.
Exactly.
Sure.
And what a better way to do that than to commission a song to be made. I don't even compose.
Which you can, so you can listen to the song through your S-Home or Shome.
Your Shome.
Shome.
Ecosystem.
Also, I know that in this Android world, yes, you can use like different phones. Like it's all supposed to be interconnected, but I just am so satisfied with the Google experience. It's kind of hard for me to really.
Wow. Wait. So we actually are seeing a shift. Like, are you burning your Samsung draft card and you joining up with? Are you crossing the border to Google or what's going?
It's.
This is controversial.
I know.
It's.
I don't know where this is going.
It's Google.
This is an end of an era. This is end of an era right here.
It's Google all the way down.
Definitely a subject to discuss.
I mean, I have a Chromebook. I have like 1 million smart speakers in my house. Everything's a freaking Chromecast.
We can definitely discuss this this year in Tizen.
Is that still a thing?
Is that a thing?
Yes. Well, Samsung's smart home ecosystem runs on Tizen.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forget about that.
All right.
Anyway,
so basically we know everything.
Era.
We know everything about the
right
S9, and we learned something new about
I'm
Flow.
sure it's going to have a wonderful camera and a great experience, and everybody's going to buy it more than the Pixel. I have no doubt about that.
I think that's assured.
Yeah, that's not even like a question.
No matter how good Google is at making a really great phone, I think it was actually Ron Amadio of Ars Technica wrote an article, and I think it was Google's great at making phones and horrible at selling them. Something along those lines. And it's
I saw
true.
that. That was a good headline.
It's totally true. All right, Flo, you got the next one.
I do have the next one. The next one is a surprise to many of us here today. Speaking of phones selling, guess one phone brand that sold more than the Google Pixel.
OnePlus.
That would be our old friends over at Nokia.
Oh.
Or HMD Global. 4.4 million phones sold last quarter, which means that the Nokia has a 1% market share according to Counterpoint analysts. That means Nokia sold better globally than HTC, Sony, Google, Alcatel, Lenovo, OnePlus, Asus, and a few others. It sold more phones last quarter than most of those brands too. So basically, Nokia now has the 11th highest market share.
Wow.
Go
Nokia.
Two thoughts here. One, this shows the power of the Nokia brand.
Yeah,
it does.
Like talk about Nokia kind of thing. And then my second thought, which is a question, who is buying these phones?
Well, I mean, Nokia as a brand does have a big a lot of recognition, but maybe less so in the United States. Like, Matteo, you'd probably be the perfect person to ask about this. Why is Nokia, or where is Nokia strongest?
So Nokia, or the new HMD Nokia, they're very strong in Southern Europe and Europe in general, as well as Southeast Asia. They're also extremely strong in the slightly smaller high-end market in Africa. So the Nokia brand is enormous there. And they've also done some very good deals with networks and phone retailers throughout Europe. So in the UK, for example, you see Nokia devices sold by Carphone Warehouse, by the networks themselves. And it's a trusted brand, in the same way that Motorola was during their comeback just before and then during Google's ownership. The Motorola brand was so strong that it drove sales just with the brand. In the same way Nokia is doing the...
But Nokia this time around is HMD Global. It's not Nokia, it's HMD Global that took the Nokia name and said, hey, let's create phones under this name, and everybody's going to, and obviously that plan is working. Does that same level of trust translate, or are people unaware that this Nokia is actually different than the previous Nokia?
I think most consumers are completely unaware that this is a different company.
They just see Nokia and they're like, I love Nokia. Of course I'm going to get one.
Exactly. And the other thing is they're going to some very reliable original device manufacturers in China using reliable MediaTek chipsets, components. They're well-built devices. They're very good. And we're just going to circle this back to ringtones. The Nokia ringtone is such a strong thing that you can now hear in the streets in the UK. People's phones are going back to that. That's
I
exactly
was just going to say.
Wow.
I was just thinking of that. Wow, and you were queuing it up. Nice one, Jason.
What's old is new.
Yeah.
What's new is old.
Now we need someone at a big grand piano going.
It's a comfort brand for smartphones. Not necessarily.
It is because the brand and that ringtone represent a simpler time with phones, right? When you just got a phone that worked, and Nokia was one that you could trust. And I'm more curious how much HMD Global got the brand for compared to sales. Kind of like how like clearly it's paying dividends, right? And it's going to continue to. So that might end up being like one of those smartest moves we've seen in a while by any company. Like just buy the brand and make good phones. Those two things, that's all you need.
Yeah.
All you need is a brand.
And
all you need is brand.
It's just a shame to see that Microsoft didn't manage to do that with the same brand.
Exactly.
So they had
You know why?
That's a good one.
Because they didn't have Android.
They didn't put good phone. They didn't put out good phones.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's what it is. They put. They didn't have Android. Those Nokia Microsoft phones were weird shaped. And all. It's not hard, especially when you have something as much value as that brand value. So
yeah,
I agree with Ron. I agree.
All right. Moving on from Nokia onto Android P, features are kind of making their way out.
Here we go.
To the open source nature of Android. And new commits are actually showing a few interesting tidbits. Android P will likely stop background apps from accessing the camera.
Cool.
In one example, meant to prevent malicious apps from secretly snapping pictures or video in the background. And this, coupled with some of Oreo's new requirements, would require a background app that's attempting to do this to run in the foreground and keep a persistent notification showing that it's running. So it's making it really difficult for anything to do this actually out of sight and mind of the user, and that's great. Also, audio recording. I saw this right before the show, sitting in here for the show. When an app enters into an idle state, Android P, apparently, according to these commits, would not allow audio to record. It would just be returning null value, essentially. And then once the app is then active again, it'll resume the recording. And so both of those things, could be, I don't know, great for the tinfoil hat wearing people.
Brigade.
The people who believe in conspiracies would think that this is a way of blocking third-party assistants from running as well. So that could stop Cortana or Alexa from running in the background, rather than saying,
"Oh,
hey,
I see what you mean."
You say,
so Google would be giving Assistant a
first-class status.
Yeah, first-class status. It's a good way to put it. I guess that remains to be seen, though, right?
Yes.
I would be really surprised if this rolled out and Google's like, "Tough luck, Cortana. You're not going to work on Android anymore." Like, I'd be really surprised.
That's an Apple move.
It is.
Yeah.
But I guess anything's possible.
We'll just need to wait and see when Android P is released.
Yeah. I'm thinking middle of next month. What is it? 3.1. March 14th. That's my
Enjoy.
My money's
Enjoy
on that.
your beta software. Enjoy.
I will.
I'll wait until October.
Will it even be beta at that point? That's got to be earlier.
It would be
beta.
alpha, yeah.
It'll be alpha, yeah.
It'll be super alpha, actually, yeah.
And I can't wait, Flo.
I know. You live dangerously so that I don't have to.
Wait a minute, where does and of course, March 14th is a Wednesday.
Oh, the day after?
the day
It's okay.
after.
That gives you time to install it and use it.
That's right. By the time we talk about it the following week, I'll know all the secrets already.
Precisely.
It won't be, this happened. It'll be, this happened, and check this out.
This happened
That's what
and
it'll
check it out. I even did you a screen recording.
Yes.
So then,
Don't overpromise,
Sorry.
Flo. Don't overpromise.
I totally just did. Sorry.
so does that mean that in the rest of the world we'll be getting it on the 31st of April?
Yeah, probably about that. Sorry,
If you're
sorry,
lucky.
world. Yeah, if you're very lucky. Ron, you got the last one.
Like how Mateo brings the international view to the
Yes,
show
I love it.
sometimes.
I know, exactly.
He reminds us that we're not the center of the universe, even though we are. All right, so finally, we talked a little bit just earlier. Flo was praising the Google Pixel 2, and part of it is its camera is so great. But Google's making it even better. They rolled out an update a few weeks ago to the Pixel camera to include Razor, RAISR, that increases the quality of digital zoom. And David Ruddock over at Android Police tweeted side-by-side comparison shots of the city. One shows a cropped portion of a full-size image. The other shows the new digital zoom. And I got to tell you, this digital zoom looks very impressive.
So this is the cropped full-size image, and it might be less impressive on a video screen through the stream, but that's the cropped full-size image, and then with the digital zoom, and you just see more detail. And it's, from what I understand about Razor, from what little I've read about it, it's doing the thing that is pretty common in AI right now, which is where instead of, like in an image, for example, instead of just blowing up pixels and making them very large and blocky, it's actually filling in the space by guessing, by being smart and guessing where the connective tissue is between one pixel and another. So
The way that you would
pixels
do it in Photoshop yourself.
potentially, I guess if you were going to draw it in manually, but instead the AI is working that out for you. So when you zoom in, instead of seeing that pixelation mess, you end up seeing those lines actually kind of filled in intelligently by the computer, and the results are actually really good.
So it looks smoother, which means you can apply your filter on top of it.
Yes, and
on
make
Instagram,
it look bad
and
at that point.
make it look vintage.
Oh, okay. Sorry, the other word for
weathered.
bad. Vintage. What do you got there, Mateo?
So I've just done that with the Android we have sitting on the table, and it is
I did that
noticeable.
too.
So where is your camera? Let's see here. Where is the camera so we can show on the overhead? So you have the Razor.
So yes, I have the latest update on the Pixel 2 XL. So this is zoomed in.
So you did digital zoom on that, or
This is just zoomed in
your hair's
with
Oops.
in the full size image.
okay?
And if I go back, this is the actual image.
Ooh, that's
Right?
with
One
zoom-
looks
with
smoother than
digital
the
zoom.
other.
digital
Yeah.
zoom. Wow.
This
Okay.
is with digital zoom zoomed all the way in,
yeah.
and that's a noticeable difference.
Nice.
I hadn't read about this until after I had updated, but it is, from my experience, much better on the Pixel 2 XL.
Fantastic. That's great.
Wow.
You know, I'm a zoomer. I appreciate that.
I'm a zoomer.
I only use
I'm a
my phone
zoomer.
now on vacation, and I'm a zoomer. If I see a bird,
I
I'm gonna
admit,
zoom.
I zoom all the time.
But how far
No
do you
shame,
zoom?
no shame,
And
no shame in zooming, guys. No shame.
But
Can
if
we
you-
all just accept the fact that we are zoomers?
We are all zoomers.
I'm a zoomer.
Who's zooming who? I'm zooming everyone.
So this is going to be a terrible
Who? It's who's zooming who.
DC Universe joke, but
Yes.
if you zoom in a lot, is Flash effective?
Is Flash effect? No.
The Flash. It's a DC joke.
No comic book jokes here.
But no, it's a real
They-
thing.
they will
if
fly
you're
right
zooming
over me
in,
like Superman.
in low light and you're using Flash, if you're out with the 5 to
Yeah.
10 meter range, is the Flash going to be effective?
No.
No.
No, but what are you doing using like Flash? I don't agree with you if you're using Flash from that far.
I just don't agree with Flash.
I just don't agree with Flash. Honestly,
We're
think Flash
zoomers,
should
we're
be
not flashers,
banned.
okay?
Flash should be banned.
We all just
Alrighty
accept that we are zoomers and not flashers. Anyway.
We are
hope we're
zoomers
not
and not
flashers.
flashers.
So where does vertical video fit in there?
No, don't even get me started on vertical
Don't
video.
even talk about vertical video. Oh no.
All right.
All right, Ron, save us.
Let's take a pause from this mayhem and let's thank our first sponsor of the evening. This episode of All About Android is brought to you by Freshbooks. And did you know that 44 million people have a second job? And if you're one of them, you've got whether you got a side hustle, a passion project, a convenient source of extra income, make sure you're on the right track with FreshBooks cloud accounting software. FreshBooks is fantastic. Their intuitive dashboard will give you quick access to your spending, outstanding balances, total profit, and other accounting reports. You'll know how you're doing at any given moment, and you'll be ahead of the game during tax season, which, by the way, is right now, and you want to get ahead of the game if you know what I mean. So with FreshBooks, you can send professional-looking invoices in seconds, save time accepting credit cards online, and get paid an average of 2 times faster. No more chasing clients for payments or waiting in line at the bank. You can accept credit card payments directly from your invoice. You can see what invoices have been sent, viewed, and paid, as well as overdue and outstanding invoice totals. You can create proposals with rich text content, images, customizable sections, and more. So know what you did when you did it, so you never leave money on the table again. FreshBooks makes it easy to bill for time by client and by specific project. And with the FreshBooks app, you can stay connected to your clients and keep tabs on your business no matter where you are. FreshBooks automatically connects to your bank account and updates expenses daily. All you got to do is take a picture of a receipt, upload it, and let FreshBooks do the rest. From payment reminders to late fees, automate as much or as little as you'd like to so you can get back to doing what you love. And I can honestly attest to this. My wife uses FreshBooks for her freelance business, and it keeps her on top of all her bills and all her invoices and things like that. I walked by her computer the other day. She was in FreshBooks. It looks so easy to use. FreshBooks lets you focus on the work you need to do and let all the other stuff get taken care of by FreshBooks. So make this year your most productive year yet. With FreshBooks, you'll be ready when tax time comes along, and you'll be set up for success when you decide to turn your passion project into a full-time gig. Try FreshBooks free for 30 days at freshbooks.com/AAA and enter All About Android in the How Did You Hear About Us section. That's freshbooks.com/AAA, and we thank FreshBooks for their support and helping us keep on top of our businesses. Thanks, FreshBooks.
Thank you, FreshBooks. We appreciate having you on board. And now it's time for some hardware. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's actually time for Mateo's Hardware Shack. Mateo is back. Thank you for keeping us on track, Victor.
Encouraging him with this is just continues a bad habit.
I think it's a good habit.
Thank you. And I think Flo
and I think it's
my Instagram stories this weekend.
Yes.
What is Instagram? Anyways, what do you got?
So this trip, I have brought the Xiaomi Redmi 5 Plus, which is part of Xiaomi's affordable range of devices. Those are the ones with the Redmi branding. So Redmi is a Chinese word that means red millet. It's a particular type of rice. It's a red or brown rice. And this is the affordable version of their range. It's a 6-inch Full HD Plus screen. It has a fingerprint scanner on the back, a 12 megapixel camera on the back with dual LED flash. It's a very nice device to hold, and it's powered by a Snapdragon 625 chipset. So not the newest of chipsets, it's about 2 years old, but it's still a 14 nanometer process to manufacture, so it's very power efficient, and it's still got pretty good punch. So for most people's uses, it's more than enough. This is the basic model, which is around about $150. It has 3 gigabytes of RAM, 32 gigabytes of storage, a 4,000 milliamp hour battery, and I'm really impressed by it. For the price, $150 or around about £120 sterling, you're getting a lot of smartphone with a decent selfie camera, good battery life, and an amazing feature, which is an infrared blaster.
Oh, yeah.
Which travelers around the world will love because it allows you to get around a lot of locked hotel room TVs.
Yeah, strangely, IR blasters just are like less, like you don't see them in a whole lot of phones here in the US, but you see them a lot more overseas.
In Asia, they're very, very popular because a lot of devices, particular air conditioning units, are still controlled with infrared remote controls. So if you want to be really energy efficient, you don't get up to find your remote control, you just use the phone, which you most likely have in your hand anyway.
Right.
Obviously, there are some trade-offs. This is a new device, just launched, but it has a micro USB port, or what we refer to as the nostalgia port.
The nostalgia port.
Grumble.
Sorry.
That's right.
There we are. So that's the nostalgia port. But it does have a Courage port, the 3.5 millimeter audio jack on the top. And in my use of it so far for the last few weeks, the battery life is excellent. I get between 6 and 8 hours of constant Pokemon Go playing on it. The user interface is
battery
very
test.
pleasant to use.
Oh, how cute! I
and
like
very
that.
themable. So this is a theme that I've downloaded.
Yeah, I was
which
going
is-
to ask, is that a theme that you've got going?
It's a theme that I've found on the MIUI store.
Well, yeah, they have their store filled with themes. Like
Yes.
it's kind of like out of the box. That's one of the features of a Xiaomi phone
Here,
is
turn
how
the volume,
customizable it actually
the
is.
brightness a little bit.
I'll turn down the brightness. Is that better?
Oh, that's
much.
very low. It's good to know it goes that low,
So
though.
this range of brightness control in a device this inexpensive
Young
is
and
impressive.
colorful. Or is that young and colorful?
Which one?
Oh, never mind. It was up here. It said young and colorful.
Oh yes, this will be one of the hero.
Sorry.
So let's have a look at young and colorful themes.
I want to know.
Here we go. Lots
They
of
are
different
vibrant.
young,
They,
vibrant.
they
colours.
match my shirt.
They're probably aimed at millennials like yourself, Flo.
Well, I really like these rounded corners that we've got going. I mean, clearly that's a thing that's going on with a lot of phones,
Yeah,
but it looks
yeah.
really good on this phone in person.
And yes, the full HD plus screen is lovely to use, very good quality. It's got vibrant colors. Something that's relatively new for Xiaomi in this case is that it has on-screen navigation buttons.
Oh, yeah.
So this is something which is
They've been doing kind of device-driven capacitive touch buttons up until now, or
until recently, yes, until at least the Xiaomi Redmi Note 5A, which was the most recent one, with a 16:9 aspect ratio screen, had capacitive buttons just underneath it. In this case, they have on-screen buttons with the Xiaomi layout of back, home, multitask from the right to the left.
can you swap this?
I haven't found that in the settings yet, but I'm sure there will be a hidden feature to do that.
Hopefully so.
And the Xiaomi menu system is very pleasant to
It's
use.
so pretty. I love. Oh, look at those cute colors in the quick settings. Was that a part of the theme?
So this is part of the theme.
That's
so it's
so cute.
MIUI
into it.
9, the new version of the operating system, is very, very customizable. It has colors, lots of
Sound
colors
effect.
through there. It also, the stock launcher, or the launcher that comes with MIUI, has the equivalent of a Google Now feature.
Oh, I
here.
like that one. That's a lot nicer than the OnePlus one. The one they have that shelf feature.
Yes, it's very similar in terms of functionality, but I would say this is very well designed.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, actually, they're kind of on par. Actually,
They're very similar, and
Yeah.
if we compare it, for example, to the Microsoft launcher, which has its own shelf, if you're in the
if you're into the shelf life.
if you're into the shelf life, so you have very similar features. So it's not just a Google Now thing. There is a whole different set of launchers who have their own take on the shelves or the Google Now cards.
Yeah.
So obviously, I haven't put many accounts on this Xiaomi device yet, so it doesn't have lots of information available. But the more you use it, the better it is. For personal preferences, I'm using Chris Lacey's Action Launcher on this device. It's my preferred launcher.
And the themes still work?
The themes do work for the icons.
Okay.
And do they change kind of like the system, like the settings pages? Do the
Yes.
themes extend into notifications and stuff, all that?
Yes.
Cool.
There are some issues with Google notifications. So your notification shades, some notifications with some themes won't work appropriately. But with most of them, in my experience, they do work. So
Nice. And what? Remind me of the cost on this again. I mean, I
this
realize
is around about $150.
Yeah.
And that's for the entry level model, which is 3 gigabytes of RAM, 32 gigabytes of storage, expandable with micro SD.
Yeah.
And there is also a 4 gigabytes of RAM version. And more recently, there was also a launch of the Redmi 5 or Redmi Note 5 and Redmi Note 5 Pro, which are slightly newer models with newer Snapdragon chipsets.
Yeah, this is nice. It's got the we were talking about this before the show. It's got the metal back, but then with the sure it's metal, but it's actually plastic top and bottom.
So it's similar in design to what the Honor 6X was, in the same way that it has the plastic top and bottom.
Right.
But for the price on this Xiaomi Redmi, nothing to complain about. It's a very well-built device for the price.
Right on. Yeah,
Ron,
nice.
would you consider using one of these devices as your main smartphone for a while?
Sure, I'll consider anything if it's free.
No, it would be interesting to see what you think of this particular one, considering your strong opinions on screen size and headphone jacks.
True.
Yes.
I'm willing to try anything, man. 2018 is my year of phone experimentation. I'll try anything, dude.
Really?
2018's Ron's going back to college.
We got to get Ron a Samsung phone.
Ron's in college.
bring
It's
it on.
experimental years with phones.
So it's all about ringtones.
It's all about I really think 2018 is going to be the year of ringtones.
It's going to be the new trend.
You know, just very quick side note on ringtones. I figured out how to put ringtones in the appropriate folder so that the Android system would pick them out.
Would actually find them.
I really wanted Beyonce's Formation to be my ringtone. So, you know, it's...
So, since we're talking about ringtones, how customized... Like, I remember when I first got into Android, and it was like... Actually, I remember prior to Android when I had like an LG Chocolate or whatever those previous phones were, where if you wanted to modify the ringtone with like whatever random song or tone that you wanted to load on there, it was like
you had to buy it or record
Raiders
it.
of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
Like you had to go on a voyage in order to figure out how to make that happen. And then Android made it a little bit easier, and I would modify it and be like, this person gets this ringtone, that person gets the Pac-Man sound effect, whatever. Now I don't care. Does anyone care anymore?
Jason, you've mirrored exactly my experience. When I got Android, I was like, and when you figured out how to do the custom ringtone from clipped MP3s,
yes.
I sent a note to all my close friends. I'm like, what song do you want to you call me to go? And like I meticulously set it up, and then like I would get a new phone and I would still set some up. Instead of like 10 friends, I set up like 5.
Yeah.
And then the next phone that went down to 3. And then the next phone, I'm like, I'm just gonna do my regular ringtone. So when a phone rings, it's gonna be this song. Now I cannot tell you, it's been at least maybe 4 phones since I've set a ringtone at all.
Yeah, you just use the stock one, like whatever.
Yep.
Well, Android actually keeps track of it and moves it from phone to phone. So I've had all my ringtone settings the same since the Nexus 6P.
Wow.
You see, that's like right
really
around
nice.
the time that's right around the time I stopped doing it. So I need to do it again, and so it will just carry through to future phones.
Making the ringtones is still hard. It's still laborious. I found like a weird free service that let me clip the song online. I don't even know how legal that is.
I use an app called Zedge.
I know about
Zedge.
Zedge.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know, but they don't have that much Beyonce on there.
They've got Quantum Leap. They've got the A-Team.
Ooh, very good. That's good.
Quantum Leap is a good
Say
ringtone.
no more.
But I got to tell you, I'm looking at
But no
my
Beyonce.
phone I'm looking at my phone logs, and I think this also mirrors the way we use our phones, where the only
Nobody
person in my favorites that calls me at all is my sister. Right?
Well-
like none of my friends have called me in months. And I talk to them every day, just not on the phone.
Not only that, I don't know the last time that I ever left my ringer on. My phone is
Yes.
always
True.
on vibrate
Yep.
or
Yep, me
silent.
too.
It's always
true.
there.
Now, Jason, if you could change the vibrate pattern to the beat of one of your favorite songs.
Wait, didn't we have an app for that in the arena?
No, I think you had a watch for that. Wasn't it the
Oh, yeah,
the baselet?
still have that. I still have that.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I'm
All
sure
right.
there was an app in the arena also.
This is a whole show topic. We can
All
move
right.
on.
It
yes.
is.
No, that was fun.
but-
It is.
But real quickly, I want to thank the entire All About Android community, because you guys and gals out there are the best. Because if anything happens with any brand that I've spoken highly about, you let me know a lot. And this happened again most recently when Essential, Andy Rubin's phone company, announced not only was Ocean Depths now available to order, but there was 2 new additional colors announced at Essential. So for $100 extra now, you can order the Essential phone in the aforementioned Ocean Depths, that nice bluish greenish kind of color that I liked, with a gold titanium frame. They also added Stellar Gray, which is a matte black back with special grippiness, and a copper black version, which I keep reading as Cooper Black, the font, but it is not that. It's copper black. And this is a high gloss black ceramic back with a copper band, which I got to say looks mighty pretty.
That's hot.
Nice.
I will give Essential credit that these color combinations are very, very tempting.
That's a Bond phone.
They blame the delay on these new colors on the complexity of colored ceramic production, which lines up to when I talked to folks at Essential at the launch event here in New York City. That was the suggestion I got, was that they had these ideas for colors and then it was kind of harder to make them than they thought. And then additionally, if these three colors don't meet your fancy, you can go over to Amazon and get the Halo Gray color, which is honestly a little more Apple-y than I want to admit. Which is on sale exclusively at Amazon. So that's 4 new colors from Essential that could tempt you into moving over to the world of Essential. And so to answer the question I got the most on Twitter for the past week, did I buy one? Am I going to buy one? Oh, wow. I just pulled up my headphones. Did I buy one? Am I going to buy one? The answer there is no, I did not buy one. I'm not planning on buying one. I still think they look sexy as heck. I just have better things to spend my money on right now. And the Pixel is really keeping me happy. So I don't need a new phone. See, this is the problem. I don't need a new phone. I don't need the latest, greatest thing. Now, when I need a phone, I'll consider it.
If when Essential had launched, they had launched with Ocean Depths, I think Ron would have the Essential
I would have
phone.
one.
So if we go back to when Essential launched, that was in the period where I was coming out of the Robin, and it was right before I was experimental with the Moto X2 Force, and then before I committed to the Google Pixel. And had Ocean Depths launched when Essential launched, I probably would have paid much more than I could pay right now, to be honest, because it was higher priced when the phone came out.
Yeah.
But now I just don't need it. So, yeah.
Right on.
I kind of, I appreciate this journey down Ron's smartphone dating path.
Yep, Ron's going back to college. Experimenting with phones. All right, it's time for the other type of hardware, Victor. Let's do that. Now that we know that we have the bumper. There's no real wearable news, but just checking back in.
Psych, there's no wearable news.
All right, now it's time for an ad. But we heard from a lot of you. We can't possibly read every single email, and we don't even have to read every single one that we have here. Based on our conversation last week about wearable devices and fashion brands and how many people actually have these things. And, I think we knew that people had them, but we were curious how many of you did. And we heard from a few of you. Nick wrote in to say that he had the Sony Smartwatch 3. The strap started falling apart, and so he switched to the Fossil watch and seems to be loving that. He says he says it's great. Fossil actually kept coming up. Donna also wrote in and said that she wore a Fitbit, and actually we have a picture of her watches here on the left.
Ooh, look at those pretty bands.
And then bought a Fossil watch on the right, which is what you see there, that sharp purple Fossil watch.
It's really cute.
Ends up wearing them both. I don't know if at the same time, but
I'm assuming not at the same time because that Fitbit is just gnarly
compared to
big. But I like the little color coordination between the two.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's Fossil. Gary wrote in to say he had to stop because he was driving home and listening to the watch segment, and he actually had to pull over in order to send us this picture. Said he has the Fossil Q Founder 2.0. Had a Pebble back in the day and has been using smartwatches ever since. He loves it. So he's rocking the Fossil as well.
Thank you for pulling over.
Yeah, thank you for pulling over. I'm telling you, Fossil's like almost every reply. G wrote in, said, my girlfriend and I have a Gen 3 Fossil watch that works well for us. That's the next picture, side by side, rocking the Fossils together as a couple.
So cute.
I know. And
are you noticing a theme throughout these common thread? Is that the brand being mentioned is a fashion brand? Yeah,
well, and that was kind of our question.
Yeah.
I'm very interested in the fact that Fossil seems to be the one
Well,
that
it's
we
sold
keep hearing
everywhere.
about.
It's sold at Target. It is sold at
It's an actual watch manufacturer.
Yeah,
It's an actual
make
watch
watches.
manufacturer.
See, because the thing is that if you're looking to buy a watch, you're not going to go. I'm like, where are those LG watches? No,
Yeah.
you're going to look for
Watch.
Fossil. You're going to look for You're going to look for Tag Heuer.
It's on Mateo's wrist, is where the
Right,
LG
you're
watch is.
You're gonna look for Patek Philippe or whatever those are. You're gonna
Michael
look for
Kors.
watch.
Kors.
Yeah, Michael Kors is still a stretch, but I don't know. But,
Well, I don't know.
yeah.
Jeff wrote in to say, after much research and consideration, I ended up with a Michael Kors Grayson to replace my Pebble Steel.
Look at that handsome watch.
He said,
Wow.
I didn't want a watch that could do everything from paint my house to walk my dog. I wanted a second screen experience that looked good. I get 2 days battery life, which is down from the 7 days of Pebble. But I have a color screen now. There were a lot of watches to look at, and choosing wasn't about picking the best. It was about weighing the ups and downs of each until I found the one that fit my needs.
And he apologized he didn't have a banana for scale.
Yeah, no banana for scale, Mateo. Sorry.
That's
weird.
fine. He put in a quarter for scale, which is close
Yeah,
enough.
it's true.
I mean,
Yeah.
at least there's
So-
some sort of scale.
Well done,
know-
Jeff.
on retrospect, the last time I wore a watch, I had customized ringtones. Just putting
what
that
is this?
into
Yeah, what does this
perception
mean?
there.
This is the episode of the ringtone.
I know, it really
This
is.
really is. Yeah.
Zoomers, flashers, and ringtones. All right. Let's thank the sponsor, and then we'll get into some app news. We actually have app news this week. But before we do that, let's take a minute to thank the sponsor of this episode, and that is LegalZoom. I'm a huge fan of LegalZoom. I've been using them for years. Used them well before I even worked at Twit to set up our will. When we had our first kid, we had to set that up. We knew it was important, and I'm in the process of updating that to include our second. Now we're a little out of date on that, but I'm working on that right now with LegalZoom. But not only for your own personal affairs, but also business. If you own a business, small business is a hot topic this year. That means National Small Business Month at LegalZoom is coming at the right time. Whether you're just starting out or if you already have a business, 2018 presents a unique opportunity for you. And the new tax law, by the way, includes the most significant changes for business owners in the last 30 years. And LegalZoom can help you understand what that actually means for you. LegalZoom is not a law firm. But they have a network of independent tax professionals and attorneys to help answer your questions about taxes and a whole lot more. LegalZoom understands that you need to tap into the right resources to run a successful business. And that's why they're using their 16 years of experience to provide business owners with the tools to start and run their businesses the right way. LegalZoom has white glove service for business owners, everything you need to run your business, so you don't have to worry about compliance or when things are due. Services include tax consultation, intellectual property, payroll, employee handbooks, and business compliance. Keep listening over the next few weeks to find out how LegalZoom can help you during National Small Business Month. You won't want to miss out. For now, check out LegalZoom.com today and get special savings when you enter promo code AAA in the referral box at checkout. LegalZoom, where life meets legal. Make sure and use that promo code. It's AAA for special savings at LegalZoom.com. And we thank LegalZoom for their support of All About Android. And with that, it's time for some app news.
So I was just shuffling through my apps, just looking at
as one does.
as one does. Well, I was actually shuffling through my mobile wallet on Android Pay,
Are 10 of them like Google apps?
or what? No,
Oh.
my mobile wallet with mobile
Oh.
cards.
Well, I thought like a folder
I have a
with all your
Costco
mobile
card in
things.
there, and a CVS card, and a couple credit cards.
Yeah, you stocked your mobile wallet
Oh,
better
I
than
absolutely have. Oh, I'm totally into the mobile way of life, which is why I'm kind of excited for the Google Pay way to happen. First of all, because, well, we'll get to that in a second. Let's give you the news. First, the news is that Google is updating the Android Pay name. It is now going to be known as Google Pay for Android, as well as other platforms where applicable. The big goal is to make it super easy to get started with Google Pay for everyone and anyone. This includes the ability to set it up from a bank's app directly without even having to install Google Pay. I'm thinking
nice.
of recently Zelle, which is like the new transfer
Right.
method that they're trying to push.
Is that Zelle or Zelly?
I pronounce it Zelle.
Or Zelle.
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 Zaya.
My
Zaya.
bank popped
Zaya.
up with my bank app popped up and said, "Hey, sign up for this thing." So I'm imagining the same thing would happen with participating banks for Google Play.
Yeah.
Apps and websites can support it the way that we kind of have been already, or that you maybe have come across on the internet. Online stores will support it by calling the Google API to see if a user is Google Pay enabled. So that way it'll default to that, which will be really easy. You can just switch between the cards you have on there. The API simply passes credentials to whatever app service is processing the payment. So that's why you don't have to have the Google Pay app installed, which might be, I'm assuming this is cross-platform.
Oh, yeah.
So...
And that's a big part of it.
For some of I'm saying, the iOS users who maybe have a toe in the Google way of life. The idea is just to make it easy and ubiquitous. Google's also updating the Google Wallet app soon to call it the Google Pay Send. So that's what that's going to be called if you want to send money via
Pay
Google.
Send. Google Pay Send.
I haven't used Google for sending money, but I have used it nonstop for paying. And I have to say, I'm very much looking forward to the day that I don't have to say Android Pay. I can say Google Pay. Because the thing is, I never said Android Pay. I always said Apple Pay. Because if you say Android Pay, they do not understand what you were asking about.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Starbucks employees look at me like, you mean Apple Pay? I'm like, no, honey.
No, it's the Google one.
It's the Google one.
they
And
call it
don't
Google
worry,
Pay?
it works. I know it works. Anyway, Google Pay.
On my iPhone, I have Google Pay Send that I just installed.
Okay, so be able to send money that way.
Yeah. Can we just say that Google Pay Send is a horrible app name? Google Pay Send.
I think so.
Google
but
Pay Send.
It's just
Jason,
that.
going by your recent App Arena performance, I think that you can afford to send money all over the place.
Yeah. How much you want me to send you? I could send it right now. I'll send you $0 right now.
Excellent,
right now.
thank you.
I'll do it.
I wonder
Go.
how much.
Are you going to send that on Allo or Hangouts
I
or
don't know.
messages?
I'm not going to send you $0. I'm going to give you
To be
give you
fair,
an Oreo cookie.
we do have to look at the fact that Google's very much branding this in a different way. It has been branding Android Pay to make this more of a ubiquitous thing. The idea of it being integrated with your bank.
Right.
This is a good move.
It's just hard. I agree with you. It's a good move, and I like the ubiquity aspect of it. It's just like this is brand number 3, right?
In 4 years.
We went from Google Wallet to Android Pay to Google Pay.
And
now,
before
right?
Google Wallet, it was Google Checkout was a thing.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
and
That
let's
was
not
the wallet
forget
thing,
all of
but-
the stuff the carriers tried to push on us, that small window time frame that they were trying to push all these proprietary payment services on us.
Well, but not even talking about right, but not even
That's
talking
right.
about the carriers. Google alone, it just seems as if if they never went away from Google Wallet, then this is just more like Google Wallet is ubiquitous. And the change to Android Pay, I feel, is it just sullied the whole thing, and now it's very similar to their messaging debacle.
Yeah.
So
really confused things.
But that's very inside baseball. So I
It
don't know.
is.
Maybe it doesn't matter.
It
No,
is.
it's still confusing.
Yeah.
It's more accessible.
Yeah.
It is. Google Pay makes a lot of sense. But
And
Google Wallet also made a lot of sense, but whatever.
Google Pay in branding is on a par with Apple Pay, but also with Alipay in Asia and WeChat Pay.
Which I don't use. I don't use Alipay.
But I've noticed that in the San Francisco Bay Area, Alipay is now accepted in many shops and places. They have Alipay signs up.
Interesting.
It's
So-
interesting.
I was just very surprised to see that. It's not just in Asia. It seems to be accepted here as well.
Very interesting. All right.
So every now and then, at least, Jason, how long have we been doing the show? We've been doing the show, what, like 9 years, 17 years?
Yeah.
A long time.
Yeah. 9, 17, it's the same.
Every now and then there's an app that comes along that changes the game, that totally changes the way we look at how Android works and how you can use these phones, stuff like that. And it seems that more often than not, the best way we celebrate these Hall of Fame apps, these legacy apps, is by celebrating their demise. Now we can add another one to the funeral plot that is Android. Cue the music. Thank you, Victor.
Thank you, Victor.
We say goodbye to Swype keyboard. SWYPE, Swype. Swype keyboard was the first keyboard replacement that allowed you to swipe across letters to spell, which is now how SwiftKey came along, and then Gboard. Everybody seems to have adopted it after Swype, and now Swype is no longer. Sad. A moment of silence for Swype.
Swype and Dragon Dictation for Android and iOS officially ended development.
Yes.
That's sad.
Nuance, by the way, acquired Swype in 2011 for $100 million.
So the Swype team made out okay. It's not like this is a tale of failure. But interestingly enough, friend of the show, Ron Amadeo, asked on Twitter, he says he basically, I'll read it word for word. In a world where bounce, scroll, and swipe to unlock can be patented to hell, why was everyone on Earth allowed to copy Swype's gesture typing? Which is a very good question, because basically the magic sauce that made Swype so amazing was just copied by everyone else.
Yeah. It's true. It's so true. I don't know how that happened.
Wasn't it a part of the Samsung keyboard engine?
Prior to Swype?
They had licensed, Samsung had licensed it from Swype. Yes.
And I think I read somewhere that's kind of Swype's plan going forward is more like making those business arrangements and not direct to consumer.
But I think to Ron's point, I think the difference is one company had buildings full of lawyers whose sole job is to patent stuff long before it's actually made, whereas Swype was a startup at the time and they didn't have that resource.
Right.
Yeah.
And they got acquired. I mean, $100 million is nothing to, is not to shake a stick at. You know what I mean? Like it's not I really don't think this is a tale of failure. This is a tale of success. I mean, they got acquired in 2011, which is, let me do the math, 7 years ago, right? So it's a pretty decent run. Clearly Nuance has a plan for it. Coming out of this, it's just as a consumer-facing app, it doesn't make sense to put out a product to compete with Google, Gboard and SwiftKey, which is now owned by Microsoft, and whatever Samsung's doing. And so they're just going to focus on licensing it and doing business partnerships. And so if that works for them, that works for them. But
is swiping kind of like Kleenex in the sense that, like, do we just kind of refer to that action as swiping on the keyboard?
Well, it's spelled with a Y.
Yeah, I was going to say, the question is, when you tell someone to swipe the keyboard, do you spell it with a Y? I don't.
No, I don't either. No, you're right. All right. Chrome for Android now will do you a solid when you go to copy one of those, really long, complex, drawn-out URLs from like Amazon. Amazon's so guilty of this. If you go there from a referral, you've got the long URL, and then you've got all the extra stuff. Or maybe you copy something that has a mobile web link with a .m in the URL. And then you copy that and you send it to someone and they pull it up on their desktop and it's the mobile version on their desktop. Now Chrome 64 for Android is going to eliminate the cruft from those long URLs. It's going to remove the unnecessary stuff and also convert mobile to a standard URL when you use the share functionality. So be it, go into the share button and do the copy URL or share into a particular app. The URL that enters that app from that share functionality is going to be cleaned up. And so it'll be shorter and it won't drive you/me insane. And that's good. Hopefully. If you want the full URL, you can copy from the URL bar and you'll get that. So, yeah.
Great feature.
My latest pet peeve is sending people AMP links.
Me too.
Yeah.
I feel so.
AMP is great, but I don't want to send someone an AMP link. I just want to send them the original.
Yeah, I wonder, does it convert that? I mean, it's Google. They're probably not going to convert that. Maybe not. I don't know. I didn't read that. I wonder if it has anything to do with AMP.
I have to say, I do not like the way...
Yeah, it does work on AMP. It does do it with AMP.
Well, I do not like the way that Google shares links from the little feed that is embedded in the home screen now. Like when you go in your little feed on the left side of the launcher, and then
which, by the way, I will say I agree with you, Flo. The sharing, I've had frustrations with the sharing, but I've been using that feed way more than recently. Like in the past month or so, it's my new fidget. Like instead of looking at Instagram or Twitter, I'm swiping I'm swiping right to the left side and scrolling to that feed and updating it. Like it's become real handy. And I literally just told it to stop showing me things from Fox News, which is even better.
I get a perfect mix of all my celebrity gossip and then like all my tech news. It's just like this perfect meddling of my two.
We should do what's in your feed. We should do that as a segment on a future show.
I might
feel
be
like
just
your
like
feed is
beauty
much different
tips,
than
like
mine.
Kim
Yeah.
Kardashian's latest paparazzi shot. Like, what is Tim Cook going to do about Apple?
I'll be honest with you. Mine's got a little bit of Android. It's got a whole lot of Wakanda, and it's got that there's a new episode of Fixer Upper tonight. So
I'm putting it in. Episode 360. We'll have a special segment. This is March 13th. What's in your feed? Will be the segment. It's in the calendar.
Love it. Okay.
Unfiltered
Hopefully my feed is
Yes.
acting well that week.
Yes, I know. Who knows what'll be happening
Hopefully
that
the news
week?
is good that week.
Listen. Pinky swear, guys. Pinky swear team. Flo. No manipulating your feed in advance of episode 360. Use it as you normally would. Do not manipulate your feed in any way. Okay.
Pinky swear.
There you
I
go.
don't know how to.
I'm just impressed by my feeds having an article saying why you should visit Petaluma, California.
I get those. I get those like because whenever I travel, I get those.
Because you go to Petaluma. That's what. I'm surprised it doesn't have why you should adopt a goat.
Yeah, it's true.
Yes, well, I
While in
think
Petaluma.
that's implied. No one should ever have to say that out loud.
Yes.
But this my feed obviously takes in from Google Trips, which is an app that I use for traveling.
Yeah. Mine just reads my email.
I will tell you, I know I derailed the conversation from complaining about how it handles links, but I really want to swipe away cards when I'm done with them.
I agree.
do too.
I agree.
That's my main complaint with. Well, that's one of them, anyways. Yeah,
But
I
save it
completely agree.
for 360. Save it. Yep.
All right, yeah, we'll talk about that then. All right, we've got some apps in the arena coming up, but before then, we're going to thank the sponsor of this episode, and that is Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. If you've ever gotten a mortgage, then you already know, or maybe you haven't and you've been thinking about doing it. You should probably know that the experience is, well, it hasn't been really kept up with the times. It's not the easiest thing in the world. If you go the standard route, you pull in information from all over the place. You want it to be easy because you want that home, but it's not. It's dated. It needed a client-focused technological revolution, and that's why Quicken Loans created Rocket Mortgage, to make it easier for you. Rocket Mortgage gives you the confidence that you need when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. It's simple. It allows you to fully understand all the details and be confident you're getting the right mortgage for you. It's convenient. Their trusted partners allow you to share your financial information with Rocket Mortgage at the touch of a button. It's also powerful. Whether you're looking to buy your first home or your 10th, Rocket Mortgage is able to perform thousands of calculations in seconds based on your income, assets, and credit. Rocket Mortgage can analyze all of the home loan options for which you qualify and then find the one that's just right for you. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently. To get started, all you have to do is go to rocketmortgage.com/Android. That's rocketmortgage.com/Android. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLS, consumeraccess.org, number 3030. And we thank Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans for their support of All About Android. And now, Flo's going to cough, and we're going to jump into the arena.
So many enter, but only one lives. Android Arena.
I choked on water.
Are you okay?
I'm okay.
Jesus. Don't die on
Went
water,
down the
Flo.
wrong tube.
Last week, we had... Okay, so by the way, Ron, you were out. I did not win with my repeat app, but it was nulled and void from...
Yes.
Or whatever the...
It was nulled.
It was nulled.
True.
As it should have been.
So, Wade County took that into effect, and we appreciated that.
Thank you, Wade.
Last week, Andromeda Substratum was the winner. 44%. That's a team guest win right there.
Dang.
Excellent. I had a feeling that was going to win. It was really cool. Demonstration, everything. Beta testing catalog, 35%. That was your app, second place. My app, third place. Edge Gestures, 21%. I mean, what can I say? The app completely blew up in the demonstration. So that's what I get. That's what I get when that happens.
So that said, with those results, and I missed last week, which always stings. It stings to miss an episode. Yeah. Thanks to Wade County in the chat room for keeping track of the stats. Through 7 weeks of 2018, guests are firmly in first place. Mateo, no pressure, with 22 points. Despite missing last week, I'm still sitting pretty in second place with 16 points. Flo makes her move on the outside and now is in third place with 14 points. And Jason not far behind in last place with 13 points. So it is still, between the three of us, it is anyone's ball game. And it is Mateo's opportunity to hurdle the guests even further in the lead. So
I really think this is not the year of me. This is just, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it, Ron.
Jason, if we looked at the standings a year ago during this time, I bet you would be surprised. It did not mirror how the year ended.
That's true. That's true.
Who knew I would win?
Thanks, Ron.
Can I just tell you? Can I just share with you? Doing that is like one of the highlights of my week. I love doing the arena stats. So thank you for indulging me. So, I mean, nothing. It really makes me happy. So thank you guys. So,
all right, let's see if I can crash and burn this week too. I guarantee I can show it off. I've had a little Olympics fever.
Me too.
Yeah?
Oh my gosh! Did you see the Canadians win the gold last night?
I literally watched it right before the show tonight. It was breathtaking.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I've been watching. We've been having a lot of fun watching on YouTube TV. I've been struggling keeping my Chromecast working with this iPhone 10 that I get rid of on Thursday. So I can't wait to get back to my phone that actually works with the Chromecast.
I can't wait for you to come back.
I can't wait.
In the loving arms of Android.
It's like,
also, by the way, I saw you tweeted that it's almost over, and I cannot believe it's been 6 weeks.
I can. I can totally believe it's been 6 weeks. Yes, less than 48 hours from now, I get my phone back. I think both Megan and I are equally happy to return. Anyways, we'll talk about it on Tech News Weekly if you really want to know our expanded thoughts on the Switch this time around. But anyways, I've had Olympics fever, and one of the things that I've watched probably more than anything is snowboarding. I'm a big fan of snowboarding, and it's been a lot of fun to watch it. It reminded me of years ago, I used to play a game called Cool Borders on PlayStation.
Yeah.
And
I remember.
It was great for the time. I've revisited it. It doesn't hold up, but still, it was awesome back then. And I stumbled across a game for Android that kind of reminds me of it. And, you know, in kind of in honor of the Olympics, thought I'd show off, kind of has a lame name, Snowboard Party, World Tour. I don't know why. It just kind of sounds cheesy and dorky to me. But anyways, it's basically kind of like the cool borders aesthetic. I don't know. Maybe all snowboarding games are similar in this day and age, but I like seeing it for Android. So I'm going to load it up. It has all of these courses and, you know, tricks, the typical fare that you get out of a snowboarding game. It also has the totally generic, punk rock / alternative music soundtrack. Whether you care about it or not, I don't know.
Guano Ape style.
Yeah, it's the X Games theme music, basically. So it's the standard, left side of the screen controls. On the right side of the screen, you can see you've got a few different options here. I can hold this down and let go and be the jump. And, of course, it's going to be hard for me to do this and play and talk. But if I hold it down and then let go, and then I can do a little grab. And
easy to do in real life.
It mirrors my abilities on a snowboard in real life. So I'll do a turn and there we go. I'm just trying to, lock in some points and everything. You can do a slide. You have to balance it when you're on there. You have to go left and right to kind of slide it and everything. And I don't know. It's just kind of fun. It reminds me of Cool Borders for the most part. And it's actually the controls. I'm not always a huge fan of the on-screen kind of left, right, up, and down controls on the left side. But I think the sensitivity is dialed in about as good as it possibly could be. So you don't end up with super erratic controls, which I find happens a lot on these types of games. I'm gonna wipe out. Points lost. Long tracks like this would take me about 5 minutes to get through, and there's a number of them. Of course, you've got customizable. I'm really bad at that. Bounce. Yeah, objective completed. You can customize the look and feel of your snowboarder, change to different people, all that kind of stuff. But if you are, having a little bit of Olympics fever and you want to be a snowboarder for a day and you don't want to get cold in the mountains, here you go. It's called Snowboard Party World Tour. It is free, but you can remove all the ads and have a completely open experience. Oh, this is fun. Here. Yeah. Then I really feel like I'm in the Olympics.
Wow. So can you do that really slowly without making mistakes and still get to the end?
Yes.
Join the Hungarian
Yes. Just like actually happened in the Olympics.
Let her go. You know
I
what?
think it's great.
I'm not at the Olympics.
I thought it was awesome.
That's what the sport's all about. It's about participating.
Exactly.
Hey, I made it. Okay, anyways, free, $1.99 to remove all the ads and have an open experience.
Also, that was skiing.
Yeah,
True.
But yeah, but whatever. Snowboard Party World Tour. Relive your dreams of snowboarding fame. There you go. All right. So, Ron, you were out last week. Does that mean you go next?
I believe it does.
I think that's your punishment, is you go next.
That is my punishment. Well, you mentioned earlier that you've been having a hard time with Chromecast.
Yes.
And because you're on that phone. And when you come back to the good side of the world, you can check out my app in the arena. It's called Caster, Caster. It's free in the Google Play Store. And what it is it is a very cool aggregate Chromecast app. So what it does is it takes YouTube, it takes Vimeo, where you can sync your account. You can sign into your YouTube account. You can sign into your Vimeo account. But then it also takes the media on your device, as well as has connectivity to network locations such as Dropbox and Box and all the boxes there you can store files. Google Drive, Dropbox, OneDrive, and it also supports DLNA/UPnP browsing and playback. And for those of you who know what that means, you know how great that is. Basically, you can take any media that you've got stored on a network attached device, and then you can route it through Caster and cast it to your Chromecast. Chromecast is one of my favorite things about Android. It's one of the best things. And yes, there's the YouTube app, and yes, there's the Vimeo app, but it's nice to have them all kind of in one place. But really the power of this is the ability to cast videos and media from your phone, as well as from those network locations. So if you're looking for a way, if you've got a whole hard drive full of your home movies that you want to, let's say your home movies that you filmed yourself and you legally own, you could use Caster to watch them on your TV via Chromecast. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I mean, it's the YouTube and the Vimeo stuff is nice because it puts it all into one kind of spot. But beyond that, it's the network connectivity that really makes this app really sing. It's very simple, very nice material design. Someone recently commented they like how I always highlight the material design in my apps, and it's because I appreciate it. I know it's the de facto standard now, but come on. So Caster, it's free in the Google Play Store. You can there's an app purchase to purchase a license for it. And in doing so, it only costs $4.49, and you're able to unlock it, get rid of ads, which is sometimes an annoying thing to do. In the settings, there's a couple of interesting settings in there. You can force portrait display, which is an interesting feature, which I don't think I've ever seen before in a display in the settings. You can adjust the colors, all this sort of stuff, as well as you can adjust the animations. But it's pretty lightweight. It's a very lightweight app. It's very elegantly designed, and I played with it a lot, and it works. It works well. I was able to cast some stuff both from my phone as well as from my desktop to my Chromecast. So there it is, Caster, free in the Google Play Store. Check it out.
And then you can watch some football versus soccer trick shots. Yeah. My dude, perfect.
And that's the thing, too, by the way. That's a very good point that you're watching this, because you don't necessarily need to have Chromecast to use Caster. While this definitely helps, but it does work as a media player on your device. So if you want to aggregate YouTube and Vimeo and your local stuff, but also if you want to watch those home movies that I told you about that you shot yourself and you own the rights to on your phone, you can cast them to your phone from your desktop computer with all your home movies that you own the rights to.
Nice. That's a very specific you own the rights to, isn't it?
Well, yes. I just want to be clear that this is media that you own the rights to, that you've purchased or shot yourself.
You made your own version of Thor Ragnarok with your own actors.
No, don't. Oh, I can't say it. So go to Caster, where you can get it free in the Google Play Store.
All right, Caster, it is free. You should check it out and enjoy it.
Make Justice League jokes. Don't make Thor jokes.
Sorry. See, this is how clueless I am in the world of comics. I don't know what I'm saying. I really don't.
Number one app in Wakanda.
Yes, there it is. Lovely.
All right, Mateo, I'm afraid about what you have, but I'm also very interested. What do you have?
So this week I'm bringing an app which was actually suggested by a listener or watcher of All About Android. This is a fun little app, which is 99 cents in the Google Play Store, called Trippy Goat. Very fun graphics.
Trippy.
And it's up to 70 levels, so it's very simple puzzle levels. You just have 2 controls, no full control, just left and right. And you control your little goat, who goes around the level and has to collect the food pellets that are there. Now, the story behind this is that the goat, who I will just read this out now, he's called Fluffy, and he's been abducted by aliens, and now he's in his trap in these weird mazes from another galaxy. Help him get through all of them by collecting all the food you can. So essentially, you just tap left and right, and then once you've collected all the food, you've completed the level. And the next level becomes gradually more difficult. You can't die. It's not like Mario, where if you fall down the bottomless pits, you lose a life.
It just keeps falling.
You just keep falling and then reappearing at the top. So it's, I think, less violent than some other video games. So there we are. We've completed another level. So, and then progressively you get some slightly more complicated things. So I can't go any further on the right side here, so I'll go to the left, and whoops, I've popped out there. And like all good goats, it can climb up cliffs. So it can hang on to cliffs. So there you go. That's a Flappy Goat. And it's up to 70 unlockable levels. There's no in-app purchases. There's no ads in the app. It is a paid-for app, but very entertaining, very fun to use. I haven't noticed if there's a feature to sync across devices. So if you have many Android devices, you might have to replay the original levels again and again. But in personal experience, very enjoyable for flights, just to pass some time whilst listening to podcasts, and very cool artwork as well. It's quite pleasant app. So as I said, 70 levels, good time puzzle game, and it's got goats. So if you want to vote for Trippy Goats, you're also voting for Team Guests, Gina, and Goats.
GG and G.
GG and G.
I gotta give Mateo credit. You stay on brand.
Yep.
I like it.
Thank you.
Yep.
And let's also thank the listener who reminded me of this app. I'm not sure who it is off the top of my head, but I will thank you on Twitter once I find your original tweet. So thank you for suggesting Trippy Goat.
Mateo's reviews in the arena should always be, "Hi, I'm Mateo, and this is my app, and it has goats." And that's it. That's all that needs to be said.
That's it. That's all you need.
Not always, but there's always something little there, like goat's cheese salads.
Yes, exactly. There might be a destination inside the non-goat related app that has something to do with goats. It's always a thread, and we appreciate it. Totes. Flo, you're up next.
I went full millennial and I brought an app to the arena called Vlogit.
Oh.
It sounds exactly like what you think it does. It helps you put together videos and upload them to YouTube. I haven't actually tried uploading anything to YouTube yet, but I needed an app that I could just use to put some darn music to some video so I could send it to my friends or maybe post it to Instagram. And I found an app that lets me do that and just that and easily. So this is Vlogit. Vlogit it's going to remind you a lot of YouTube. There's a lot of red in it. This is a silly little video that I made the other day, but I'm not going to show that to you yet. First, I'm going to make a video, and I'm going to show you that I am going to make a video of myself. I'm making a video of myself. All right.
How millennial of you.
How millennial of me.
Pouty face.
So I just added that, and so you can get a quick look at the interface. It will handle those awful vertical. Listen, this is how the millennials communicate with each other, through vertical video with blurry backgrounds on the back. Which, by the way, if you go into the settings, you can adjust all this. So I'll show you the settings. I'll show you the settings in a second.
Well, I appreciate that they do something with all that wasted space, at least.
Well, the wasted space is not for naught. The wasted space is supposed to act as a timeline, actually, when you have multiple videos. So all your videos will show up down here. Let's see if I can actually show you. So this is how the timeline looks like on a video. You can add text as you need it. Put some Art Deco. Oh, look at that. Look at that transition. You can put that in there. Wow. Ooh, look at that. I can make my own logo. Oh, look at that cool one.
You could be an influencer, Flo.
I could be an influencer. You can add stickers if you need to.
Deal with it.
Some deal with it glasses. If you need to, you can adjust the audio as you need. Now, I like this because I added like a little, I added a little vaporwave track on top of here. And the track is not as long as the video, but you can see it in relation to the rest of your timeline. And you can actually individually set the volume if you need it. You could set if it fades in or fades out. You could trim it if you need to and just easily do it from here. And it's nice and easy. There's different effects that you can apply. So here's a button zipper effect if I needed to add that to something, which I'm not going to. It's fine. We don't need sound effects. Or a voiceover if you want to add. Yes, this is me 20 years ago. No, I don't know. You know, whenever they do those record scratches. Anyway, I was trying something there. There's also a library, so you can toss in photos if you need to with a Ken Burns effect, which is an option on here, by the way. You got to have a Ken Burns effect. You can also set the transitions, and the nice thing about this is you can test the transitions on here and then apply them all at once by just hitting this little, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, guys. The brightness was up too much on there. There's a little apply all button here in the corner. So
what's in the box, Flo? What's in the box?
Well, it's funny you should ask what's in the actual box. So here's a little video I made. The media is down. I put a little, it's a Google Home Max. I'm just going to tell you. Yeah, it's a Google Home Max.
Spoil the
ending.
ending.
I can adjust the speed to make it just go really fast too. So that we can.
Oh, so like a time lapse.
Move this a little faster. Of course, I need to turn off the audio of me talking because then it sounds like little squeaky mice. And you can apply a little filter too if you wanted. So, and this is all the stuff that comes for free with it. I'm actually not as familiar with what you can unlock, but there are settings. So you can choose, like I said, the Ken Burns effect, video resolution, background, that sort of thing. So, Vlogit.
And it's called Vlogit. One word.
Vlogit. It's a free video editor made for vloggers. And the one thing that they try to use to kind of like entice people is the fact that they actually worked with YouTubers to create this app. So the idea was to create an app for actual YouTubers.
And the features that they want at the push of a button, easy, not a bunch of extra stuff.
Yeah. And it's backed by a company called Filmora, from what I understand.
Very nice.
Something like that.
That is Vlogit. And now you have an impossible choice ahead of you. twit.to/AAA poll 357. Place your vote for your favorite app. Is it Snowboard Party World Tour, Caster, Trippy Goat, or Vlogit? That's twit.to/
I know what Victor's going to vote
AAA poll 357.
Let's see if I get it right.
I don't know. He's hovering.
I got it in my mind. I got it.
I think Trippy Goat.
He went for
Victor,
Trippy Goat.
I pegged you for a snowboard.
I thought he was going to go snowboard too.
Wow.
Thank you, Victor.
We misjudged.
I haven't touched snow since I was like 5.
That's why you need this game. You don't need to touch snow. You could take snow with you. Anyways, never mind. Trippy Goat, whatever. All right, twit.to/AAA poll 357. We'll check in on that next week and see where the standings are. I should also mention just real quick, Robert M. is a fan of the show and self-professed spreadsheet
Oh yeah.
Amazing.
Nut.
Wizard.
Yes.
Wizard. There's the right word. He put together a spreadsheet, which, I mean, you guys won't actually have access to it, I don't think. It's more like a tool for us to compare.
It's a tool for us. That's what makes it great.
Yes. No, I mean,
It's
for
also
us.
a way. It's a way for us to avoid losing in the arena. That's for sure.
It's a way for us to know easily if the app that we have has ever been done before. And he integrated this new cloud spreadsheet
Machine learning.
with the existing spreadsheet.
Basically
So
machine
as
learning.
new apps are updated on the main spreadsheet that everybody has access to, it'll automatically import those in. So we just go in there, we just start typing, and if it appears, it's been done before, and if it doesn't, it hasn't, and it's just really awesome. We have awesome fans. Robert
Yeah,
M.,
we do.
thank you for doing that.
Thank you for
Hopefully-
being our fans.
And hopefully this means we won't ever do that again. I have a feeling we will, though.
There's gonna be that
But-
one day when we're both we're all just too busy.
We're scrambling, but this is going to really help us out, and we really appreciate it. That's it. I think we're done.
I think we're finished.
Finito.
Finito.
Matteo, we need to talk. Thank you. Thank you for coming in today. Thank you for bringing delicious treats, which people will see after the credits
Which I've been
roll.
eating throughout the ads.
Yeah, because they've been undeniable. And thanks as always. And anytime you want to be on the show, anytime you're in the area, just let us know. You always have a seat.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
What do you want people to know? Where should they go for everything you're working on?
Well, I'm still working on coolsmartphone.com. Next week, I will be in Barcelona at MWC. And apart from coolsmartphone.com, you can follow me on Twitter at Todoleo. And in April this year, I will be speaking at an Android developer conference called DroidCon Dubai.
Woohoo!
So I will be
Nice.
speaking there. So if you're in the region, it's on the 13th and 14th of April this year. And I'll be there as well as lots of other very talented Android developers and experts in the mobile space. So
Nice.
It's gonna be really hot because it's in Dubai.
yes, and April gets quite warm.
Have you been before? Have you been to Dubai?
Yes,
before?
so I spoke at the first two editions of DroidCon Dubai.
Oh, okay.
And the first one was in April, and it was very, very warm.
Mm-hmm.
The second edition in 2016 was in March, and it was much cooler. But by Scottish standards, it was far too hot.
No matter how you slice it, yeah. Understood. Well, awesome. That sounds great. Have fun in Dubai, and
I will do my best. Thank you.
we will see you again soon. Oh, and have fun at Mobile World Congress because you're going to be there
Yeah.
as well.
Our boots on the ground.
I will definitely send you some Ukitel pictures.
Perfect.
Okay, please do.
Maybe some Doogie or Airmoo phone pictures.
Perfect. Perfect.
All of those funny name companies, please.
And also hamon, please. Send us hamon.
Hamon. Is that a phone brand or is it ham?
It's an edible phone
It's
brand.
an edible phone brand.
the-
Hey, sustainability.
Yeah, hey, this is not a.
So
not
would
an out there.
Elephone count as an edible phone brand?
If you're into eating elephants, does it
Well,
work
please
like that?
don't eat elephants.
No,
they
don't
are an
do that.
endangered species. Please do not eat elephants.
I don't
You-
endorse it.
From your
I'm just
friends
saying
at All
someone
About
probably does.
Android.
Flo, what about you?
Do not eat pachyderms. Dumbo was one of my favorite movies when I was a kid. I loved that movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
It was a great movie.
It's short, though.
I'm on the internet. I'm on the internet at FlorenceLion.com. I'm on Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram at OThatFlow. Come follow me. I'm working a lot on a lot of stuff. A lot of review stuff, a lot of how-tos and guides for smart home stuff. So just kind of stay tuned. Also, I got a Google Home Max. So if you want to know anything about that,
Boom.
just listen to my office because all that bass is heavy.
Yeah, it is.
Heavy bass.
Hey, the Google Home Max has a good
Is
sound.
max
I really liked it a lot.
power.
How does NSYNC sound on it?
I actually haven't done NSYNC on it yet. I know.
That's
know.
tomorrow. Can't
I
wait.
know.
All right. Ron, what's your favorite NSYNC album?
Anyway,
No
you can
strings
follow me
attached.
you can follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at RonXO. And recently, actually yesterday, I did a little headphone jack debate with a friend of the show, Juan Carlos Bagnell, some gadget guy. You should check that out on YouTube. Juan was kind enough to invite me to debate Eno Bangete from Board at Work. And we had a blast arguing over whether the headphone jack should go away. So that's on YouTube. You can find that on Juan's YouTube channel, Juan Bagnell. It was a lot of fun. Very pertinent to Android listeners, all about Android watchers. And it's fun to watch everyone get very angry at me for saying the headphone jack should go away. So, yeah.
Yes, you were born for that role, for that debate.
Yeah. That's exactly
perfect...
what the Twitter thread announcing Ron
participation.
Yeah, it was just like a Twitter thread, like perfect person.
Perfect selection.
And it was a blast. It was a lot of fun. Enobong's awesome. If you haven't seen him, he's great. And it was just we had a lot of fun arguing it. It was fun to see both me make Enobong's points and Enobong makes my points for us as well, as debates often happen. It's all about perspective. It's all about perspective, right? So
yep.
And they said debate club would never serve us after school.
Yep. There it is.
Thank you, Ron. Victor, thank you.
Thank
you.
Always.
All of your work. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for the bumper.
And the bumper. Mateo is very, very happy to have heard his bumper today.
Oh, and thanks for your app, Mateo.
And thank you. If you really want to see what I'm up to, yellowgoldmusic.com is probably the place to go for right now. Before we go, twit.tv/surveys where you go if you want to tell us how you feel about the things that we do here at Twit. Maybe there's content that we're not giving you that you say, hey, this is a great idea. This is a show idea, or really like what you're doing with this show, or we think you need to do a little bit more of that. Twit.tv/surveys where you go to fill in those spaces and let us know as much or as little as you want. And I think that's about it. Oh, Twit Flash Briefing. Now in Canada, Australia, the United Kingdom, and India. So if you have an Echo, go into the app on your phone, and under Flash Briefing, you can look for Twit, and you'll find daily content there as well. That's it for this week. Voicemails can be left at 347-SHOW-AAA. We haven't got one in a really long time, so you should try. Emails AAA@twit.tv. Find us on our subreddit at twitaaa.reddit.com. We have a Twitter account at Android Show. We have our Arena apps list at twit.to/Android apps. Show notes and past episodes can be found at twit.tv/AAA. You can catch the show live. Just email tickets at twit.tv and you can sit in the studio. But probably what you'll do is you'll watch it on the stream. And that's Tuesday live starting at 5 p.m. Pacific at twit.tv/live. That's it for this week. We'll see y'all next week on another episode of All About Android. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Today we have a little special treat, a special Oreo treat. Mateo obviously is in town, and with him he brought something we haven't seen before. It looks similar to something that we have seen before, except in this case I'm told that it's literally an Oreo cookie on top and bottom with an Oreo frosting and a chocolate bar in the middle.
Yes.
Like that's what it actually looks like. This isn't just like, all of this is contained within the chocolate.
Yes.
This is what I would assume. But.
We need to thank my colleague and friend Censored Pixel on Twitter. She's the human behind the Skyscanner Twitter account. She found this in the UK at a supermarket I don't usually frequent.
Those are really pretty.
Whoa, this is weird.
It's pretty. Oh, they're small.
Okay, a little broken, but that's okay. We don't have to eat the broken ones.
Well, to be fair, they did travel.
I'm going to go like this so that I don't have to get my fingers on everybody else's chocolates.
The average bear.
Apologies. Okay, so here I'll pass it along.
I've obviously failed in the crushed Oreos as a service.
No. Nobody could be as bad as Amazon.
There's no failure here. I think you won.
As bad as Amazon.
It does. Yes, Amazon is the supreme winner.
So I just want to point out the fact that the cream is on the inside of the Oreo and that the chocolate seems to reside around the Oreo body.
Yeah, there's like a reservoir.
That's innovation right there, folks.
Mateo has a deconstructed one. If we could move quickly to this camera, if you don't mind. There you go.
Okay, so that's the Oreo out of the chocolate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, they seem to be two separate entities.
I'm intrigued. I'm just going for
They're
the whole
two different
thing.
entities.
I like the analysis here. This is great.
I definitely know for sure those won't be around next week. Like Last week's Oreos are still there at the
I don't know
break
if we
room.
can share these.
Dang, those are so good.
I don't know if we can share
Ron,
these.
we'll make sure we send you some.
Don't make offers you can't keep there, Mateo.
I can keep it.
Okay, Mateo brought a couple of these packages. I'm going to send you some. I promise. I've got other things to
I give
send
this
you.
a 9.
I know I've said that before.
I give
and
this
I
a
keep not
9.
doing it. I'm really bad at
believe
this
it.
whole sending you things thing.
All
Oh
right,
my god, I
ratings,
want another one, but I
ratings
need to
time.
share.
All right, so Flo gives it a 9.
I give it a 9.
Holy cow, that's so
Jason?
good.
So good.
I mean, I would have a hard time not eating this whole thing.
I know, I want to eat it now.
I can't quite possibly give it a perfect score, so I have to give it a 9.
We have to share it.
Yeah.
Wow.
We have to be good people of the world.
Mateo, what would you give it?
Personally, I'd give it a 9.
Okay. That's a resounding success there.
But that's because last weekend here in the US, I found the chocolate hazelnut Oreos.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
which
we
are
had that a few
essentially
weeks ago.
Nutella Oreos.
A 10?
Burke's going all
As he walks
perfect
out
on it.
of
He
the
gives it a
studio
10.
with them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bold.
That's what you need to know about that.
There goes the Oreos.
Bye, Oreos.